Okay, these are the notes for the midpoint formula. We did an activity with Desmos where really all of you discovered the midpoint formula. If you're interested in that, check the announcements in Canvas. That'll give you the code that you can go give that a try yourself. But the formula here came up. It was basically the average of the x's and the average of the y's will give you the midpoint. So using that, these are 2 points here. I'd like you to find the midpoints of each of these segments. So again, you're just going to add the x values together. So in this case, 6 and -2, and then divide it by 2. And you're going to add that'll give you the x coordinate of the midpoint. And then find the average of the y coordinates. That'll give you the y coordinate of the midpoint. So push pause and try that now. All right, over here we have those answers. Do make sure that you simplify your answers, and you can see the results over here. It is a point, so make sure to write it as a coordinate pair. All right, then we applied that a bit here. So again, we have M is the point 4, -2. That's the midpoint of segment AB. A has the coordinates 2, -5. What are the coordinates of B? And there's more than one way to do this. Some people might choose a graphing approach to this since the numbers aren't too bad. There's a lot of different ways this was approached. And then down here, given points A at 5, 2 and B at 3, -6, show that P, 0, -1 is on the perpendicular bisector of segment AB. So again, I would like you to try those on your own. Push pause now, try them on your own, then come back and check your answers. All right, over here, this is just one way to do it. The top, I did it pretty quick. I knew that 2, the x-coordinate of this, plus the x-coordinate of b, when I divided those by 2, I should get 4. And then I solved that equation that gave me the x-coordinate of point B. I did a similar with the y-coordinates of the midpoint and the y-coordinate of A to find the y-coordinate of coordinate B. This is not the only way to do it. A lot of people were even working it out in their heads. So if you got 6, 1 in a different method, please don't think that yours is wrong and you have to do it this way. All right, down at the bottom, perpendicular bisector, we knew 2 important things. One, it better be perpendicular to the segment AB, and that it needed to go through the midpoint. So most people started by finding the midpoint of AB using the midpoint formula. And over here, we found the slope of AB. We needed the slope to figure out if they were going to be perpendicular. We knew, therefore, because the slope of AB is 4, we knew the slope of the perpendicular line had to be the opposite reciprocal, so it had to be -1/4. And then we checked the slope of P and the midpoint we found here, because if P and the midpoint, it contains the midpoint, so we'd already be using the midpoint. If they have the correct slope, that -1/4, we knew it was on the perpendicular bisector, and that was true. Now, one other way I have shown here is you could have found this out by using the theorem that any point on a perpendicular bisector is equidistant from the endpoints of that segment, the segment being bisected. So I also found, again, different way, found the distance from P to A and P to B, and if you can show those are equal, that is, again, proving that P is on the perpendicular bisector. All right, that concludes our notes on the midpoint formula. So check Canvas for what you need to do next.